So Drew Brees broke Peyton Manning's record at 540. Now he's at 541. The question was, is he underrated? Also worth noting, as Tony would like to say, he threw 29 completions out of 30 attempts that game, 96.7%, which is an all-time high in a single game. So he kind of broke two records.
In a dub.
Yeah, in a dub, blowout. The question, I guess, is he underrated? And I would say yes. So the comparison I would make to an NBA player is I think he's the Kevin Durant of the NFL. When he came into the league, it was Peyton Manning running the league, right? Kind of like how when KD came in the league, it was Kobe running the league. Then as, he got better and better, Tom Brady started winning more and more Super Bowls, and he became considered the GOAT, and he was considered the best player. Same thing with Kevin Durant and LeBron James. So in any other era, I think Drew Brees is considered the best quarterback in the game. He just so happened to play in an era with elite quarterbacks. Tori, he's always been, in my opinion, like the second or third best at the time, but that doesn't negate everything he's accomplished and everything he's doing. He's number one all-time in passing yards. He's number one all-time in completion. Now he's number one all-time in touchdowns. Like, these are like crazy stats to be number one in as a quarterback. Like, that's literally how you define like greatness in a quarterback. So the argument against him is going to be like, oh, he only has one ring, right? But in football, it's a little different than basketball because you can only play one side of the field, right? In basketball, I can play defense and play offense. Well, Drew Brees can't really control what his defense does. So 6 out of the 13 years in New Orleans, the Saints defense has been ranked 25th or worse in points allowed. So literally half the time he's been in New Orleans, his defense has been one of the worst defenses in the league by far. Out of all those 13 years he's been in the league, the Saints offense has never been outside the top 12 in points. So his offense has produced. It's been the defense that's let him down, and he can only play 50% of the game. And then a lot of like recent years, a lot of unlucky things have been happening to them. That 2 years ago where their corner literally just blew a tackle on like a Hail Mary that ended up them losing the game and cost them a chance to possibly go to the Super Bowl. Last year, the ref missing that PI that literally would have sent them to the Super Bowl, where I think they could have easily won that Super Bowl. So, yes, he has a one ring, but I think this year, I picked them to win the Super Bowl this year, so I think they'll get their second one this year. But as you can see, like, it hasn't really been his fault that they don't have more rings and they don't have more success. As an individual, he's literally done all that he can to carry his team. It's just his team has let him down multiple times. And so, yes, I think in a way he is underrated because of this and because of like the greats that he's just so happened to be in that era along with him.
But even in his Super Bowl, I don't really think he won it. I think the defense more so won the Super Bowl, and also that like touchdown that on the block punt or whatever, they had the onside kick. I just feel like that he didn't really win the game. Which is like, especially if you're like looking at his career, he got this amazing defense and like rightfully he won, but I know he didn't have this defense, but his scoring could also kind of be addressed by his really bad defense, because typically when you have a really bad defense, you have the ball like more, and the other team scoring more points, you're forced to score more points.
So I'm looking at the stats for that Super Bowl right now. He completed 32 out of 39 passes for 288 yards and 2 touchdowns and was named Super Bowl MVP.
Nice.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Not too bad.
Only, Brady puts up like 400 yards at least every Super Bowl, but yeah.
Last year?
No, but the year before that,
I remember his team putting up like 13 points.
The year before that, he broke.
Brady's the GOAT. Like, I'm not
like
saying
500.
Brady's better than him. That's not the debate I was trying to have. I was just saying, as an all-time great, I think he's underrated.
Yeah, I think I think this is more due to all of the Aaron Rodgers fanboys. Like, I just want to call every single Aaron Rodgers fanboy, this is your fault. Because Aaron Rodgers has been time to time put over Drew Brees, and I always have Drew Brees in my top 5, mostly like top 4.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Aaron Rodgers too.
But
like, that guy's been considered the best in the game, too.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, when he was his peak, people considered him. It was Tom Brady Rodgers for like 5 years. People weren't talking about Drew Brees, but this was actually like, after Drew Brees won the Super Bowl, but before now. So could be looked at as like this was like Drew Brees' time, and he wasn't even like talked about.
Yeah.
So that could kind of be like to your point where he just came in a league and was like surrounded by other stars like Kobe and LeBron with KD.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's done a lot and he's produced a lot, but I don't even have him over Peyton.
I mean,
But I think he has more of a case with Aaron, and I think that should be more of a discussion.
All time, I think he's better than Aaron, and I think all time he has more records than Peyton, and Peyton has 2 Super Bowls, but the second one he literally was carried in that second one. Like he wasn't Peyton Manning in that second one.
Yeah, he was
Peyton Manning's. It's weird with him. He tended to get. He was the greatest regular season quarterback all time, without a doubt. But come playoff time, like he wouldn't be as good. He wouldn't elevate his game. His game would get worse. Yeah, he would shrink, exactly. And that's I don't think that's been Drew Brees in the past. I think Drew Brees stays consistent or gets a little better. Obviously, we all know Tom Brady gets better in those situations. So I think there is a case for Drew Brees versus Peyton Manning. I mean, considering he literally has number 1 in those 3 stats, which are like big time stats for quarterbacks, and the playoff success. I mean, Drew Brees isn't done. Like I said, if he wins a Super Bowl this year, I think like his legacy will take a rise. Like for real. Like I think people will start considering him like one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean like I just don't think he's underrated, but I mean like I could see where he needs a little more respect, but at the same time I feel like there's, boundaries still to be held. But yeah, especially at his height. He's like short, not the most athletic, and not the most like physically gifted guy, but he has the best accuracy, like one of the best accuracies, and especially with his wide receivers, like his team, like everyone likes playing for him.
Yeah.
And everyone likes him as a person. So I feel like he has like a lot of traits that you want as a quarterback. Yeah. Maybe that Rodgers doesn't have too.
I don't know if you saw this, but ESPN put like a video of him hyping up his team before the Colts game, and it was crazy, like how crazy he was going and how the team like rallied around him. Like it was really good. That's kind of what you want out of
your that's what I'm saying. Like Rodgers doesn't do that, but like if you look at it, like Brady and Breeze, and like guys kind of like Peyton are more like
they get
leaders.
Their troops going.
Yeah,
they rally their troops.
But I think if you look at like Rodgers, you kind of get like more of like a I wouldn't even say Favre, but kind of like a Rivers, Brett Favre perspective, where like people, I mean like him for like a point, but like I feel like there's a lot of distrust. You know,